They realize they destroyed the only person who truly saw them. The avoidance regret begins with the devastating recognition that they didn't just lose a relationship, they lost the one person who looked past their walls and loved what they found underneath. While the world saw their carefully constructed facade of independence and self-sufficiency, their partner saw their vulnerability, their fears, their capacity for deep love. They saw the wounded child hiding behind the competent adult. This realization hits the avoidant like a physical blow. They understand with crushing clarity that they pushed away the only person who ever bothered to truly know them. Everyone else in their life accepts the surface version they present. The successful, independent, emotionally controlled person who needs nothing from anyone. But their partner saw through the performance to the scared, lonely human being, desperately craving connection while simultaneously running from it. The avoidant replays every moment their partner tried to reach them, every instance of patience when they pulled away, every gentle attempt to break through their defenses. They realized their partner wasn't trying to suffocate them, they were trying to love them. The very thing that felt like a threat was actually salvation, and they were too frightened to recognize it. They understand they were fighting love itself, not their partner. The regret deepens when the avoidant realizes their partner was never the enemy. Love was. Every argument, every moment of resistance, every time they pulled away, they weren't fighting their partner's demands or expectations. They were fighting against the terrifying possibility of being truly loved and accepted as they are. Their partner's only crime was offering unconditional love to someone who believed they were unworthy of it. Every time their partner said, "I love you," the avoidant heard, "I need you to be different." Every gesture of care felt like evidence of their partner's eventual disappointment when they discovered the avoidant's true nature. So they sabotaged the relationship to avoid the inevitable abandonment they were certain was coming. Now, in the crushing silence of their partner's absence, the avoidant understands that their partner never wanted them to change. They wanted them to trust that love could exist without conditions, that vulnerability could exist without punishment, that needing someone didn't make them weak or contemptible. They replay every moment they chose fear over love. The avoidant becomes haunted by a highlight reel of missed opportunities. Every time they could have said, "I love you too," but said nothing. Every time they could have opened up, but shut down instead. Every time they could have stayed, but chose to leave. These moments play on an endless loop in their mind, each one a small tragedy of connection refused. They remember their partner's face after particularly harsh rejections, the hurt that flickered across their features before they composed themselves and pretended it didn't matter. They recall the gradual dimming of hope in their partner's eyes as they realized the avoidant might never let them in. They see with perfect clarity how their partner's love slowly transformed from eager pursuit to resigned acceptance to eventual exhaustion. The avoidant tortures themselves with alternate versions of these moments. What would have happened if they had been brave enough to stay present during difficult conversations? If they had risked vulnerability instead of choosing safety? If they had fought for the relationship instead of fighting against it? They recognize their partner's superhuman patience. One of the deepest sources of regret is the avoidant's belated recognition of their partner's extraordinary patience and grace. They realize their partner endured months or years of mixed signals, emotional withdrawal, and defensive behavior, while never giving up hope that the real person underneath would eventually emerge. Their partner tolerated being pushed away repeatedly, accepted minimal emotional reciprocation, and continued investing in a relationship that gave them little security or certainty. They stayed through the avoidant's worst moments, their cruelest rejections, their most hurtful dismissals. They loved someone who made loving them as difficult as possible. The avoidant is haunted by the magnitude of this patience. They understand that their partner wasn't naive or desperate. They were hopeful. They saw something worth waiting for, something worth fighting for, even when the avoidant couldn't see it themselves. This kind of love feels mythical in retrospect, like something the avoidant will never encounter again. They comprehend the irreplaceable nature of what they lost. The avoidant's regret is amplified by their growing awareness that what they lost was irreplaceable. They begin dating other people and realize that no one else will ever love them the way their partner did. Others might love the polished, defended version of themselves, but their partner loved the broken, scared, authentic person hiding underneath. They understand that their partner's love wasn't just romantic, it was transformative. It offered the possibility of healing wounds the avoidant had carried their entire life. Their partner didn't just love them despite their attachment issues, they created a safe space where those issues could potentially be healed. The avoidant traded this healing sanctuary for the familiar prison of their loneliness. The regret becomes unbearable when they realize they might spend the rest of their life searching for someone who loves them as completely as the person they pushed away. They understand that kind of love doesn't come along often, and they destroyed it with their own hands. They face the brutal truth about their self-sabotage. Perhaps the most devastating aspect of the avoidance regret is recognizing that they were their own worst enemy. Their partner didn't leave them. They drove their partner away through systematic emotional cruelty disguised as self-protection. Every time they pulled back when their partner tried to get close. Every time they withheld affection when their partner needed reassurance. Every time they created distance when their partner sought connection. The avoidant realizes they turned their partner's love into a weapon against them both. They punished their partner for caring, made them feel guilty for needing, and slowly eroded their partner's self-esteem through emotional neglect. They transformed someone who loved them unconditionally into someone who eventually had no choice but to love them from a distance. They understand they may never forgive themselves. The final layer of regret is the avoidance recognition that they might never overcome the self-hatred that comes from losing someone irreplaceable through their own actions. They destroyed the best thing that ever happened to them, and unlike external losses, they can't blame anyone else. They must live with the knowledge that their fear was stronger than their love, that their need for safety was more important than their partner's need for connection. This regret doesn't fade with time, it compounds. Every lonely night, every failed relationship, every moment they wish they had someone who truly understood them, serves as a reminder of what they willingly threw away. The avoidant doesn't just regret losing their partner. They regret who they were in the relationship, who they failed to become, and who they might never be brave enough to be with anyone else.